Hi everybody, my name is Vince and welcome to the seminar, to the training seminar. I'm your primary contact here in Miles Lubricants. You can reach me at any time. And today the presenter is Michael Sandler. He's one of our engineers and a formulator of most of our products. And Mike.
Hi, how are you? Good morning. As Vince was saying, I'm one of the product engineers and a formulator with the company. And today, what we're going to be reviewing is our line of food-grade lubricants. Today, basically, the topics are going to be introduced to what is a food-grade lubricant, why use a food-grade lubricant, and we'll talk to you about some of the advantages of using a Miles food-grade formulation. Okay. So, what is a food-grade lubricant? So, in general, when we talk about a food-grade lubricant, we're talking about a product that is formulated for use in applications where there's the possibility of incidental food contact. So, there's the possibility that a lubricant might come into contact with the food source.
I apologize. Somebody just sent a message that you can't hear very well. I hope that it's a little bit better now.
Okay. Let's begin again. Basically, the topic of the presentation today is food-grade lubricants. So, what is a food-grade lubricant? Again, a food-grade lubricant is a lubricant that is designed to be used in an application where there is the possibility of incidental food contact. So, it's where the lubricant might get into contact, might drip down into the food product. It's still only a very small amount. You're only allowed around 10 ppm. That's the contamination limit. But we still want to make sure that if there is a chance of contamination, that the lubricant is safe. That we're not going to see, that we don't have to throw away food products, that we're in general going to be a safe fluid for use in food processing applications. Food-grade fluids used to be registered by the USDA. Now that's being handled by a private company known as NSF. There's multiple classifications for food-grade fluids. The one that most people are familiar with is H1. That's incidental food contact, and that's the majority of fluids that we're going to be talking about tonight. H2 is another classification. These are not considered to be food-grade fluids. They're products that are acceptable to use in a food processing facility, but they cannot be used in an application where there's a concern for incidental food contact. And then you have H3, which is actually edible lubricants, so designed to actually make contact with the food product. And then you have H21, which is a category specific for heat transfer. So to give you an overview, products that we're going to be talking about today are mostly H1. We do have an extensive line of H2 fluids. So when we're talking about our gear products, when we're talking about our other fluids, that although they may not be classified as H1, they're still acceptable to be used in a food processing facility, just not in an application where there's a possibility of incidental food contact. So the food-grade lubricant market. So the food-grade lubricant market only 40% of food processing applications where there's a possibility of incidental food contact use a food-grade fluid. So why is that? So right now, the only regulation for food processing fluids, the only regulation by the government for the mandatory use of food processing fluids is in dairy and meat processing. However, new government regulations are being put in place that are going to mandate the use of food-grade fluids. And so we're expecting a significant increase in the next couple of years. So roughly 7% year on year growth. So from 182 million to 265 million. So there's a huge portion of the market that can be captured at this point. So, but there's a good question: why aren't more people, in general, using food-grade fluids? And really, there's a perception of the market that food-grade fluids have poor performance and that they cost more. And that's something that we put a lot of R&D effort into abating. So we have produced a very cost-effective and high-performance line of food-grade fluids. And in general, our food-grade fluids right now, there's very little performance difference between our standard product and our food-grade product. So I just want to give you an example. So what you're seeing here is what we call an RPVOT, a rotary pressure vessel oxidation test. And this measures the oxidative stability of a fluid. And basically what you're doing is you're injecting the fluid with oxygen, you're heating it up to a high temperature, you're adding a catalyst, and you're seeing how long that fluid lasts. So what we're seeing here is just a good demonstration of how food-grade fluids have improved in a very short period of time. So this is our food-grade air compressor fluid back in 2010. And this is the same formulation, just with new additives, improved base stock in 2016. So a dramatic improvement, very near to the standard food-grade, standard air compressor fluid. And then, of course, you have another air compressor fluid that is new, that utilizes a new ester-based fluid that is even better. And this is almost identical in performance to a standard fluid. So there's less and less concern about the performance of the products. We can, on multiple applications, we can match, and in some cases, even exceed performance standards of a standard lubricant. So the performance is really no longer a significant issue. And because of our ability to purchase these base stocks and these additives in large volumes, we're also able to offer a very competitive price as well. So with these conditions in mind, we think that there's a huge potential for growth in the food processing industry. More and more customers are going to be required to use food-grade fluids, not just by the government, by their corporate offices too, because they want to reduce their liability. We have an extensive line of NSF-registered food-grade fluids, and these are all available online. So if you click the link here, if you go, or if you do a search for the NSF White Book, this is what the White Book is called, you can find quite an extensive listing of Miles Lubricants fluids that are registered by NSF, and this list is increasing continuously. Okay, so right now, we're going to be going over the various food-grade products that we have in a wide line of applications. So I wanted to go over where you would find, or where not only what products we offer, but where these fluids would be utilized in each of these applications, and what customers are looking for. So here's a listing of typical food processing facilities. So you have bakeries, food and vegetable processing, meat processing, cold storage, and beverage processing facilities. And here you can see the common lubricants, or the common applications that we find in each facility. And what we see is that there's huge potential for refrigeration, for low temperature chain, for high temperature chain, air compressors, and all these applications, all these plants are going to need a food-grade fluid, especially meat processing, so poultry and beef processing, absolutely required. And each of these applications has their own requirements, and we'll go over that as well. Okay, so first we're going to talk about air compressor. So there's roughly 3 types of air compressor fluids. You have pistons, rotary screws, rotary vanes. What's important for an air compressor fluid is it has to last. We say that it is an 8,000-hour fluid. It needs to last 8,000 hours because the customer is going to change it out at that specific period of time, and we want to make sure that oil is in very good condition. It has to be compatible with the existing fluid in the system, and it has to meet the conditions of the environment that it's in. And food processing facilities are hard facilities because you're ingesting a lot of, in some cases, if they wash down the facility at night, you're ingesting a lot of cleaners, and that can decrease the life of the fluid or decrease life of the components. So we have to manufacture a lubricant that will protect these. One of the hallmarks of Miles air compressor fluids is that we design our fluids to meet real-life operating conditions. And a lot of the competitive fluids don't necessarily do that because a lot of competitive fluids, they're designed for use in the European market. And in the European market, they operate the compressors at a much lower temperature. So in Europe, they're operating roughly at 70 to 80 degrees C, so that's 190 degrees F. Well, in the United States, we're operating around 100 degrees C, so 210 degrees F. So that's your discharge. The problem with that is that if you're using a competitive fluid that says it's an 8,000-hour fluid, it's an 8,000-hour fluid at 190 degrees F, not at 210. At 210, that same fluid will have a life of around 4,000 hours. But when we give you an operating life, we're guaranteeing it at that 210 degree discharge temperature, the most common discharge temperature for operation in the United States. This is again another comparison of fluid operating or the oxidation test that we performed. And you can see here that this is comparing us against three popular competitive fluids, so Pacer S460. These are all OEM products. The Gardner Denver and the Sully 32. And then these are our two formulations. And you can see we design our fluids to see the performance of the OEM. This is true also for our food grade formulations as well. Another thing that we do is we not only want our fluid to last, but we want it to run clean as well. That is one of the reasons why our compressor fluids have gained in popularity over the years, is because customers notice that their compressors, when they go out for the regular maintenance, they're in a much cleaner condition. And what you find with competitive fluids is that over time, a hard layer of carbon and varnish develops. And with our fluids, especially our food grade formulations, do avoid that. And food grade formulations are notorious. A lot of the competitive products are notorious for that carbon and varnish buildup. So we have two food grade formulations on the air compressor line. There's the Miles FP Comp, which has an hour life of about 4,000 hours. And then you have our new advanced formulation, which has an hour life of around 8,000 hours. And that is comparable. That's exactly the standard that most non-food grade fluids are at right now. So there's very little compromise now with utilizing a food grade air compressor or a food grade air compressor. We also offer a line of cleaners as well. So we have a food grade compressor cleaner, and then we have a fast acting concentrated cleaner as well. And I'll go into the cleaners in a later portion of the presentation. And of course, we have our line of refrigeration. So in almost every food processing facility, there's typically a refrigeration. In most facilities, they use ammonia. And the type of refrigerant is very important for the type of lubricant that you select. So questions that you should be asking when you're selecting a lubricant is, what is the refrigerant? What is the discharge pressure and temperature of the compressor? And what is the evaporator temperature? And here's a line of refrigeration compressor fluids. So Miles NXT717 is our ammonia compressor fluid. And then you have a line of mineral oil, that's for R22. Alpha benzene, that's again for R22. And then you have the new gas, the HFC gas, which is our POE. And we make selection relatively easy. We provide you with a chart that shows the recommended fluid by the type of gas. But again, in most food processing facilities, they're utilizing ammonia, and that would be our Miles Lubricants product. And that product is approved for use by most major OEMs as well. So refrigeration, again, it's a growing market for us, and virtually every food processing facility is going to have some type of refrigeration system. So there's always the opportunity to provide a lubricant there. At the extreme end, or the other opposite end, are heat transfer fluids. So you'll have a lot of applications that require process cooling, but you have a lot of applications that require process heating. So think about bakeries and high temperature ovens. So they need to heat that oven up, and in some cases what they'll use is they'll use a heat transfer fluid, a thermal fluid, as a conductor of heat. And so with heat transfer systems, typically you have a large boiler, and you have the fluid circulating within that boiler. And these systems can get extremely hot, typically around between 500 and 600 degrees F. And so the fluid has to be able to withstand those temperatures without breaking down. And they have to have a very, very low order. So our formulations are designed to do just that. So we have heat transfer fluids that are capable of running beyond 600 degrees, and we have very high flash points as well. So the flash point is a concern right now because there are more and more fire departments that are requiring operators to base their system operation at the flash point. And so we have the highest flash point for in the industry as far as food grade formulation. There's nothing that comes close to approaching our product. And so if you approach these food processing customers, so if they come into saying we're having to lower our temperatures to meet these new requirements, we have a solution for them that's available right now without any system modifications whatsoever. So heat transfer fluids, to let you know, when we're talking about air compressor fluids, air compressors typically take around 5 to 10 gallons of fluid. A heat transfer system in a refrigeration plant, a food processing plant can take thousands of gallons of product. And really, it's a matter of working with them and providing a good source for these fluids. And so we have an extensive line of food grade products, and that is definitely a big target market for us because we offer such a good fluid in that area. Gear fluids. So gear fluids, we offer a good line of products again. So it depends on the application. So we have a standard anti-wear food grade fluid with a wide range of viscosity between 100 and 680. It's designed so good in soft metal applications, so applications with copper, so worm gear applications. And then of course they're all food grade. And then we also offer for applications where there's a high load, we offer a food grade polyethylene glycol. And that is a fantastic formulation for high load applications. It's becoming more and more standard for food processing applications because this fluid does a fantastic job in resisting wear. So again, good line of your fluids as well. We also have a line of vacuum pump fluids as well. Okay, so vacuum pump fluids can be used in multiple areas of the plant. Vacuum products are good application for vacuum pumps when they're vacuum sealing, let's say meats or any other products. So typically you have a row of very large vacuums, so much larger than the picture, the one that we picture here. These systems are prone to get constant failures. And the reason why is because they're ingesting a large amount of contaminants, so food products, cleaners, and so the lubricants have typically a very short fluid life. And most competitive fluids are base oils. There's very little additive content whatsoever. We're one of the only manufacturers in the United States that produces a fully formulated vacuum pump fluid. And these are great products with fantastic performance in these systems. And we're able to, in most cases, quadruple the life of the fluid in these systems and provide significantly better operations. And really, when we're talking, one of the hallmarks that we have as a company is really providing these solutions to customers. So there's multiple areas in the facility where we can significantly improve performance just by switching. Okay, so again, Miles 6063 is our designation for our vacuum pump goods. So good for high vacuum applications, although you don't see that too much in food grade. Good in caustic environments and very good environments as well. And then there's multiple different types of vacuum pumps. Mostly in food processing facilities, you see rotary vane. But you could see thaw and beer reciprocating as well. And these are the viscosity ranges that you can see. But with viscosity, we typically recommend, just for ease of use, that you go with the viscosity of the fluid that is already in the system. And if you have access to the Miles Lubricants cross-reference, it's very easy to find the direct equivalent fluid. And to let you know, on the cross-reference, which we'll show you later, if we're recommending a fluid, it is what we call top-off compatible. So you can add our product directly on top of the existing fluid without draining, without extensive flushing procedures. So we make conversion over to our products significantly easier. Okay. We also offer, of course, a line of food-grade hydraulic fluids, a very extensive line, actually. So we have a standard food-grade hydraulic fluid, very good product. And then we also offer a line of fire-resistant and low-temperature fluids, as well as an extensive line of additives as well. So I wanted to concentrate today on the fire-resistant fluids. And the reason why is because we feel that for safety reasons, these are extremely critical fluids. We're in a lot of food processing applications, especially at poultry facilities. And a lot of these poultry facilities will have hydraulic lines next to cooking units and next to really high temperature areas. And what you'll find is that the lines have high pressure fluid running through them. And if there is a break in one of those lines, you have lubricant spraying all over the place. And what you'll find is when this gets into contact with a hot surface, it can create a fire, and that fire can spread very quickly through the plant. So all you have to do is Google poultry plant fires, and almost guaranteed that every single one was due to some sort of breakage in the hydraulic line. So fire-resistant fluids are becoming exceedingly popular. The problem with most fire-resistant hydraulic fluids is that they're water glycol-based. And a basic lubrication principle is water is one of the worst lubricants that you can possibly have. So these products are 20% lubricant, in some cases 80% water. And so they're very poor lubricants. You have to convert a plant over to these products. You have to do extensive cleaning, extensive change-out. You have to change out pumps, you have to change out seals. So there's a lot of modifications that have to happen. We've created a product that is compatible with mineral oils, doesn't require any seal changes, no equipment changes whatsoever, and provides excellent protection against fire or reduced risks against fire. And I'm going to show you a little video that we produced, and I can assure you this was done outside of our plant. We'll see why in a second. So this is a comparison between a standard hydraulic fluid and our fire-resistant fluid. And what we've done is we've created a device that is designed to ignite a mist of the fluid. And the mist is what you have if you have a breakage in the line. So homemade equipment, obviously. So you can see that just that mist, as soon as you add an ignition source, it produces this a flamethrower effect. It's like lighting an aerosol can, like lighting the end of an aerosol can. And so this is the biggest risk that you'll find in a poultry facility. This is what burns down poultry plants. So a lot of plants, because of this, are shifting over to a fire-resistant hydraulic fluid. So in a second, you'll see our alternative. So this is our food-grade fire-resistant hydraulic fluid. So same test, same method. We're still attempting to atomize the product. But what you're seeing is no propagation of flame. so no flame control. So it's much easier for the operator to obviously fix the breakage in the line, and you don't have the extreme risk of fire. And we have this fluid in multiple food processing facilities, so Pilgrim's Pride, Purdue, Tyson's, and it's a fantastic alternative to water glycol fluid because, again, no extensive changeout procedures, much safer, much easier to use, and much better performance, significantly better. That's one of my favorite products. Okay, so just proceeding forward. So of course we also offer a line of chain lubricants. So typically in a food processing facility, you're going to have heating and cooling areas. So in a bakery, for instance, you have high temperature ovens, especially let's say in tortilla plants, where there's a chain that is running through that oven, and you're lubricating that chain. And so that lubricant has to withstand extremely high temperatures, and all without smoking or varnishing. So it's a very, very stressful environment for any lubricant, especially in high temperature bakery ovens. These systems typically operate well above 650 degrees F, and so they have to withstand those temperatures. So we have a fluid, our Miles Chain HT is designed specifically to do that. It is designed to provide fantastic lubrication at those temperatures. And of course, the fluid is going to be very, very thin at those temperatures, so it still has to lubricate, even though it's just a very, very thin fluid, almost like water. And then, of course, it can't smoke, and it can't leak process. So this fluid has taken extensive R&D time to develop, and we had to do that all while keeping the fluid as a food-grade fluid. Because again, if you think about a chain-driven oven, this is one application where there is an absolute chance of that lubricant falling on that food product. With air compressor, with vacuum pumps, something has to go wrong in that system to really have a significant risk of contamination. Here, it's challenging to keep that lubricant on that chain. So you have to have a product that is absolutely. Then on the opposite side is low temperature oven systems. So typically in a food processing facility, they'll have a high temperature chain system and then an extremely cold temperature chain system. And these are used to rapidly freeze a product. So you need, with freezing products, especially, you can't freeze it in a standard freezer of roughly 0 degrees, 32 degrees F. You have to chill it down at extremely cold temperatures, or else crystals form and then the food, taste of the food is destroyed. So these systems typically operate below -40 degrees. So again, we have to have a lubricant that is able to lubricate at those temperatures. And then the fun part about this is that the chains typically go outside of that system, so they have to work at ambient. So it's a very, very complex system. But we have, again, a fantastic product. Again, food grade, always has to be food grade. And you're going to find these systems in bakeries, in ice cream plants, in meat processing facilities. And again, it's called a spiral freezer because that's exactly what it does. It's a big spiral system. So think almost like it's a big spiral unit. So it goes down and it quickly exposes that food product to extremely cool temperatures, like a carousel. So you'll see these. The best thing to do is if you visit these facilities, this is what you're going to be looking for. So a high temperature oven, usually made by a company called JBT. JBT also makes, or JA also make a lot of these spiral freezer units. And if people are asking you for these fluids, again, you can find most of competitive products on the cross reference as well. So for spiral freezers, one of the most popular fluids is Frigoscandia 410, and our Miles food grade chain lubricant does a fantastic job of replacing that product at a significantly more competitive price point. Another section that we're going into right now is our line of additives. And this is where we think there's significant potential for growth in food processing facilities. Because food processing facilities are extremely complex, and guaranteed when you have a customer, they're having some kind of issue at the plant. And so the most common issue that you'll see are leaks in various systems, so gearboxes, hydraulic systems, refrigeration systems. Sometimes you'll have a chattering effect in the hydraulic system, so it won't be operating smoothly, it will chatter, it will sputter. You have dirty systems, and you have leaks in the systems. And we have a full line of additives that are designed to combat all of those problems. So the anti-chatter additive does exactly that, it stops chattering. We manufacture one of the most effective leak stops in the industry. And we also have a new product called Oil System Cleaner. This is a fantastic product. As you can see across the board, there's multiple usages for this one product. And what this does is, especially in food grade systems where they've been using, let's say, a poor quality food grade fluid, over time, you're going to see a lot of varnish, a lot of carbon development. And that is a significant problem because it reduces efficiency, reduces thermal transfer efficiency, reduces operational efficiency. And the only way previously of cleaning out that carbon was to shut down the plant and to manually clean it off with aggressive solvents, flush out that solvent, and then restart the plant. And that's extremely expensive. So they can only typically do that at very specific times of the year. And what we've done is we've created a cleaner that is designed to be added directly into the existing lubricant. And it cleans while the system is in operation. And so it's a fantastic product. It's very easy to use. It's safe, so it's a non-solvent-based product, so it's not hazardous for the system. And we have, again, another video on this cleaner product. I just wanted to sorry. There we go. Okay. So this is the concentrated cleaner. And this is some sludge and some old oil. And so what we've done is this is roughly at 40 degrees C, so it's significantly cooler than what you find in most systems. The hotter the fluid, the better this cleaner will work. You can see that very quickly it's stripping off that varnish and carbon. And so within just a matter of minutes, this spatula is going to be completely clean. And more importantly, I'll pause this so you can see, there's no deposit materials. So it completely dissolves the carbon into the fluid. And that's important because when you present a cleaner to any customer, the first question that they're going to ask you is, will this plug out my filters? And we've designed it to protect against that. So again, I'll continue to play the video, and what you'll eventually see is that the laboratory technician is going to go back and get some more sludge. You can see it's completely clean. What we find is that what most operators will do when they use this product, they'll add the cleaner into the system, into the fluid, maybe on a Friday, and they'll leave it in the system, and then they'll come back on Monday and then drain the existing fluid and replace it with new product. So it's a very fast acting, typically works within 50 hours, and it's a great way of cleaning a system without expensive shutdown times, and it makes it a lot easier. And this product, again, can be used in multiple different applications. So from refrigeration systems, vacuum pumps, gearboxes, heat transfer systems, air compressors, hydraulic systems. It's a very easy to use and very safe product. And this is becoming one of the fastest selling products for us as well. Because, again, here, with this entire line, you're providing solutions to plant operators, and you're solving some of the most pressing problems. And what we found is that selling these fluids makes it easier to sell our other lubricants as well. So we go into a plant, and instead of just offering a replacement product, we're offering, again, a solution for a pressing problem that they have. think that's the end of the presentation, but we designed it so that we have a good amount of time for some questions. And really, anything that you guys want. Like we feel again that there's a huge opportunity with food grade fluids, and so in any chance that we have, we're happy to support you guys on anything that you have.
Thank you, Ashley. And just would like to add the cross-reference chart that we have, that we created. Pretty much, this is an evaluation between the different brands and the cross-reference to our products. So we do have cross-reference for Mobile, Shell, Chevron, and I can provide you actually with this cross-reference. Of course, we need to request it. You can send me an email at any time, and please feel free to reach me. My name is Ivanov, and I'm pretty much the person who is the main contact for you in Miles Lubricants. And thank you. If you have any questions, if you'd like to ask, please feel free. Thank you. And thank you for participating in this presentation. Have a good day. Okay.